What if I told you that one of the most geographically diverse, historically rich, and culturally alive countries on Earth is one that the world barely talks about? A country where glaciers meet deserts, ancient ruins lie beneath modern cities, and the warmest hospitality greets you in the most unexpected places. This is not a dream, this is Pakistan. Often misunderstood, misrepresented, and overlooked by mainstream tourism, Pakistan remains a destination wrapped in mystery. But beneath the headlines lies a country waiting to astonish those brave enough to explore it. In this one-hour journey, we'll travel from the southern coast to the towering peaks of the north. We'll experience ancient civilizations, taste unforgettable dishes, meet people with stories that touch the soul, and witness nature in its rawest form. This is not just a country, it's a revelation. Let's begin where it all starts, the south. Our journey begins in Karachi, the largest city in Pakistan and its economic powerhouse. But Karachi is much more than commerce and chaos. It's a city of contrasts, modern and ancient, gritty and graceful, overwhelming and unforgettable. Walking through Karachi is like navigating layers of time. You pass shiny office towers and stumble into British colonial buildings from the 1800s. You sip chai at roadside stalls where poets once gathered. You hear the call to prayer echo through streets where children fly kites above tangled electrical wires. At the heart of the city lies the Quaid-e-Azam Mausoleum, an architectural tribute to Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founder of Pakistan. Its pure white marble stands in stark contrast to the city's relentless motion. A place of silence in a city that never sleeps. The real soul of Karachi, however, lives in its streets. Markets like Sadar and Empress Market pulse with energy. The scent of cardamom, grilled meat, and fresh mangoes fill the air. And then there's the food. Fiery biryani, spicy nahari, and roadside bun kebabs that rival any gourmet burger. But just a few miles away from the city's chaos, you'll find serenity at Clifton Beach. Here, the sun dips into the Arabian Sea as families ride camels along the shore and the sky turns orange and pink with the sea breeze brushing against your face. This is Karachi's softer side, a reminder that even in the madness, there's beauty. Leaving Karachi behind, we drive west along the Makran Coastal Highway, one of the most scenic and least-known road trips in the world. As the road hugs the Balochistan coastline, dramatic cliffs rise from the sea. The landscape feels otherworldly. You see rock formations shaped by centuries of wind and time. You pass through salt plains, canyons, and deserted beaches with no footprints. No noise, no crowds, just the sound of waves and the wind. Along the way, Hingol National Park awaits. A vast wilderness of rocky terrain, natural arches, and wild goats. It's home to Pakistan's largest population of endangered species, including the ibex and the Sindh leopard. And then, without warning, you spot her. The Princess of Hope, a naturally formed rock sculpture resembling a woman standing tall and gazing into the distance. Carved by nature, untouched by man, a silent sentinel in the middle of nowhere. Nearby, Kun Malir Beach unfolds in a crescent of golden sand. Crystal-clear waves roll in and roll out. You can camp under the stars here, far from cities and cell signals. In the morning, the sun rises over the sea, illuminating the cliffs with firelight. It feels like the world has just been born. Most travelers don't even know this highway exists, but once you see it, you'll never forget it. From the coast, we now leap inland to the cultural heart of Pakistan, Lahore. Lahore is not just a city, it's a heartbeat, a feeling, a flame that refuses to die out. If you want to understand the soul of Pakistan, you come to Lahore. And it starts at the Badshahi Mosque, a towering red sandstone monument built by the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb in the 17th century. Stand at its entrance and you'll feel the scale of history wash over you. Everything here is big, the architecture, the emotions, the hospitality. Across from the mosque stands the Lahore Fort, a sprawling citadel of palaces, secret passages, and lush gardens. Walk its marble halls and you walk through centuries of kings, queens, betrayals, and victories. Then there's the Shalimar Gardens, designed as a place of paradise on earth. With tiered fountains and shaded paths, they offer a moment of peace in a city that pulses with life. But Lahore is more than its monuments. It's alive in its food, its music, its people. Wander into the walled city where rickshaws zip past crumbling havelis, and vendors shout over the din. Stop for a plate of spicy chana chaat or creamy malai boti and your taste buds will thank you for days. At night, the city lights up. Rooftop restaurants overlook centuries-old mosques. Qawwali music echoes through courtyards, and somewhere in the crowd, someone will offer you tea, not to sell but to share a moment. That's Lahore. Fierce, loving, unforgettable. As we move south into Punjab's heartland, we find two cities that feel like stepping into a historical novel. First, Multan, the city of saints. Here, religion, poetry, and mysticism intertwine. Thousands of years old, Multan is layered with tombs, bazaars, and legends. The air smells of roses and the color blue dominates everything, from the intricate tilework of the Shah Rukh-e Alam shrine to the domes that dot the skyline. But the spiritual calm of Multan gives way to royal splendor in Bahawalpur. This is a city of palaces, of grandeur, of forgotten royalty. Noor Mahal, the crown jewel of Bahawalpur, was once a royal residence, now a museum that glows golden in the twilight. The gardens, the chandeliers, the Italian architecture, everything whispers a story of elegance and decay. Beyond the city lies Darawar Fort, an epic fortress in the Cholistan desert. Its 40 massive bastions stretch high into the sky, guarding secrets from the sands of time. You can walk its ramparts and see nothing but desert all around and feel like you've discovered something long lost. And then there's the Cholistan desert itself, a vast, empty land where camel caravans still move through the dunes like they did centuries ago. Sit by a fire under a sky filled with stars and you realize you're not just seeing Pakistan, you're feeling it. Our journey continues from the plains of Punjab toward the mountains that define Pakistan's dramatic north. Driving north from Islamabad, we pass through Abbottabad, a city of colonial charm nestled in pine-covered hills. It's peaceful here, cooler, quieter. The air smells different, fresher, filled with the scent of conifers and wet soil. British-era bungalows line the roads and the city still carries echoes of the past with an unmistakable military polish. But this is only the beginning. From Abbottabad, we ascend along the Kagan Valley, where every curve in the road reveals something more beautiful than the last. Rivers rush alongside us, mountains rise on all sides, and small villages cling to the slopes like they've grown out of the earth. Eventually, we reach Naran, a town high in the mountains and one of the most popular summer destinations for locals. It feels like a base camp for adventure. The streets bustle with trekkers, families, and vendors selling dried fruit, embroidered shawls, and hot corn roasted over coals. Not far from Naran lies Lake Saiful Maluk, a glacial lake that legends say was once home to fairies. Surrounded by snow-capped peaks, it's a mirror to the sky. On a calm day, the water is so clear and still it reflects the entire valley. The silence here is overwhelming. It feels sacred, timeless. It's easy to see why myths were born here. Places like this don't feel real. Further north, past mountain passes and winding roads that test your nerves and thrill your senses, lies the legendary Hunza Valley. For centuries, Hunza was a kingdom unto itself, remote, independent, fiercely proud. Today it remains one of the most peaceful, clean and stunning regions in all of Asia, and when you arrive, it feels like stepping into another world. Terraced fields stretch along steep hillsides, stone houses blend into the rock, and above it all, snow-draped peaks rise like ancient guardians. The air is crisp, the light is golden, and the people? They smile with an authenticity you can't fake. Visit Karimabad, the heart of the valley. Here you'll find Baltit Fort, an 800-year-old stone fortress built by Tibetan architects, perched above the valley like a castle from a dream. From the fort's wooden balconies, the view stretches across glaciers, peaks, and villages. Nearby is Altit Fort, older still, with deep history etched into its timber beams and stone foundations. Once home to royalty, it now opens its doors to those curious enough to walk its storied halls. But Hunza isn't just about history, it's about life. The people here, known for their longevity and health, live in harmony with nature. They eat apricots dried in the sun, bread baked on stones and vegetables grown in their own gardens. Everywhere you go, hospitality greets you like an old friend. Someone will offer you tea, someone else will share a story, and time slows down, not because there's less to do, but because everything here deserves your full attention. Just beyond Hunza, the landscape sharpens. It becomes more surreal, more dramatic. And then you see them, the Pasu cones. These jagged, pointed peaks rise in clusters like giant stone teeth piercing the sky. No filters needed, no exaggeration. They're real, and they stop you in your tracks. The village of Pasu sits quietly beneath these mountains, nestled between glaciers and the Hunza River. It's a peaceful place, almost too humble for its surroundings. But the real experience here is the walk across the Hussaini Suspension Bridge, a narrow swaying rope bridge that stretches across the river. It's not for the faint of heart. The wooden planks are spaced wide, the wind pushes, the water beneath roars, but when you make it across, adrenaline gives way to awe. You've crossed one of the most thrilling bridges in the world, and entered a landscape that feels untouched by time. Don't miss Pasu Glacier, a frozen river of ice crawling down from the mountains. Even in the heat of summer, its surface gleams white and blue. The sounds of cracking ice echo across the valley. In Pasu, nature doesn't whisper, it shouts. It demands your attention, and you'll be glad you listened. From Pasu, we travel further into Gilgit-Baltistan, arriving in one of Pakistan's most celebrated and remote destinations, Skardu. This is not just another valley. Skardu is where the Himalayas and the Karakoram ranges collide. It's where world-famous climbers gather before attempting the second highest peak on Earth, K2. It's where every view looks like a painting too perfect to be real. The town itself is a quiet blend of traditional homes and modern cafes, nestled beside the Indus River, which snakes through a desert-like landscape flanked by mountains. Above the town lies Shigar Fort, a beautifully restored palace-turned-hotel that once served Balti kings. You can stay here, walk its stone corridors, eat traditional food, and feel like royalty. Nearby, Satpara Lake glistens under the sun, surrounded by steep cliffs and pine forests. It's still, serene, and impossibly blue. But if you really want to disconnect from the world, make the journey to Deosai National Park. Known as the roof of the world, Deosai is a vast plateau that stretches over 4,000 meters above sea level. It's one of the highest plains on Earth. In summer, the grasslands are covered in wildflowers. Marmots poke their heads from burrows. Himalayan brown bears roam free. And the sky, wide and endless, feels closer than ever. No cities, no sound, just space, just nature. This is Pakistan at its most majestic. Finally, we end part 2 at a place that feels like it exists outside the laws of physics and reality, Fairy Meadows. Even the name sounds unreal. And yet, it exists. To get there, you take one of the most dangerous jeep rides in the world, an unpaved track clinging to the side of a mountain with nothing but air beneath you. Then you hike for a few hours through forests, across streams and past nomadic camps, and suddenly, you arrive. A vast green meadow opens up with wildflowers swaying in the breeze and wooden huts dotting the landscape. Behind it all towers Nanga Parbat, the world's 9th highest mountain, rising 8,126 meters into the sky. Its snow-covered face dominates the horizon. During sunrise and sunset, the mountain glows orange, then pink, then purple, then silver, and in the silence, it humbles everything around it. At night, the stars come out in numbers you didn't think possible. The Milky Way cuts across the sky, the cold bites at your fingers, the fire crackles, and you sit there under a blanket, wondering how the world kept this place a secret. Fairy Meadows isn't easy to reach, but nothing worth reaching ever is. Hidden in the remote mountains of Chitral, near the Afghan border, lies one of the most unique cultural enclaves on Earth, the Kailash Valleys. Here, time has stood still. The Kailash people are Pakistan's smallest religious and ethnic minority. Their origin is shrouded in mystery. Some say they descend from the armies of Alexander the Great. Others believe their culture predates even the oldest of Indo-European migrations. What is certain is this: they live in a way that hasn't changed for centuries. In valleys like Bumbaret, Rumbur and Birir, you'll find wooden homes built along steep slopes, waterfalls flowing through village paths, and a people who dance to the rhythm of their own traditions. The Kalash worship nature, believe in fairies and mountain spirits, and celebrate seasonal festivals unlike anywhere else. During the Joshi festival, held in spring, villagers wear bright robes, bead necklaces, and feathered headdresses as they dance and sing through the night to welcome new life and renewal. The air here feels enchanted. The way they farm, the way they pray, the way they laugh. It all feels sacred, untouched, and strangely familiar. The Kalash don't just offer you a glimpse into a different world. They remind you of a world that once was, and still survives. Further east lies the Swat Valley, often called the Switzerland of the East. But comparisons fall short. Swat is Swat, undeniably Pakistani, unmistakably magical. Located in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, Swat is a valley of emerald rivers, alpine meadows, thick forests, and ancient ruins. Once part of the Gandhara civilization, it was a thriving center of Buddhist art and learning. Start in Mingora, the largest city, and visit the Butkara Stupa, a 2,000-year-old Buddhist site still standing beneath open skies. The nearby Swat Museum holds statues, relics, and carvings that trace centuries of spiritual devotion and artistic mastery. But the real treasure of Swat lies in its natural beauty. Drive toward Kalam, a town nestled in highland forests. From here, the road takes you to Ushu Forest, where pine trees stretch for miles and rivers roar through mossy ravines. The road becomes more rugged as you approach Mohenjo-Daro Lake, a glacial lake surrounded by snow-capped peaks and peaceful silence. This is the kind of place where you lose time. You forget the world beyond the valley. All that remains is you, the sky, and the sound of water. In winter, Swat becomes a snow-covered fairy tale. In spring, wildflowers blanket the meadows. No matter the season, the valley delivers a kind of peace few places can match. South of the mountains and west of Islamabad lies Taxila, one of the most significant archaeological sites in South Asia. Once the heart of the ancient Gandhara civilization, Taxila was a thriving metropolis nearly 2,500 years ago. It was a crossroads of culture, where Greeks, Persians, Indians, and Buddhists all left their mark. Today, the ruins stretch across miles of rolling hills, an open-air museum that speaks to those who listen. Walk through the remains of Dharmarajika Stupa, where Buddhist relics were once enshrined. Explore the crumbled walls of Sirkap, a city planned by Greek architects with symmetry and purpose. Stand at the Julian Monastery, where monks meditated in stone chambers and gaze out at the same hills they once did. It's quiet here, birds chirp, grass grows between the ruins, and the wind seems to whisper stories of students, pilgrims, and kings who once passed through. Few tourists come. Fewer still understand the weight of this place. But in Taxila, history isn't locked in museums, it breathes through the soil. To the southeast lies a geological and industrial marvel, the Kara salt mine nestled in the salt range of Punjab. This is not just a mine, it's a labyrinth beneath the earth, and it's beautiful. Discovered over 2,000 years ago by Alexander the Great's army, the mine is now one of the largest and oldest in the world. Inside, corridors stretch over 40 kilometers, carved from pink Himalayan salt. As you descend, the air changes. It becomes cool, mineral-rich, and still. Caverns open up into vast halls lit with amber lights that reflect off the crystalline walls. Underground mosques, sculptures, and even a full model of the Minar-e Pakistan have been carved entirely out of salt. There's a small underground lake, eerily still and surrounded by glowing salt formations. The entire place feels like a forgotten palace of stone. And when you return to the surface, you come up not just with memories, but with awe. Nature, once again, proves itself the finest architect. Far in the northeast lies Azad Kashmir, a region of breathtaking valleys, winding rivers, and dense green forests. Often overshadowed by politics, this area is still one of Pakistan's best-kept secrets. Start in Rawalakot, often called the Pearl Valley. The hills roll endlessly, the lakes shimmer under clean skies. The people are kind and the tea is always hot. Drive further into Banjosa Lake, surrounded by pine-covered hills that turn golden in the evening light. The water reflects the sky like a mirror. Boats drift lazily. Time slows again. Further north, Lipa Valley lies hidden beyond narrow roads and mountain passes. Here the houses are built with slanted wooden roofs to handle the heavy snow. The fields are bright with flowers, and the night sky is so clear, it feels like you've stepped into another galaxy. Kashmir is not just a place, it's a state of mind, one of wonder, of serenity, and of longing. All across Pakistan, from the crowded streets of Lahore to the silent peaks of Skardu, one thing remains constant: the people. You'll meet a truck driver who insists on buying you tea, a hotel owner who treats you like family, a shepherd who shows you his valley with quiet pride, a child who wants to practice English with you just to make you smile. This is the Pakistan you don't see on the news. A place of generosity, pride, resilience, and soul. Yes, the landscapes are stunning. Yes, the food is rich. Yes, the history is deep. But what you carry with you long after the journey is the warmth of its people, the sincerity in their words, the light in their eyes when they welcome you into their homes. Pakistan doesn't just offer you a trip, it offers you a transformation. As we travel back down toward the south, we enter a land rich in mysticism, music, and ancient traditions, Sindh. Here, spirituality flows through the streets like wind through desert trees. Sindh is home to Pakistan's Sufi heritage, a branch of Islam that speaks in poetry, seeks inner truth, and believes in divine love above dogma. And there is no place more sacred to this tradition than Sehwan Sharif. Here lies the shrine of Lal Shahbaz Qalandar, one of the greatest Sufi saints in South Asia. Pilgrims come from across the country and beyond, rich, poor, urban, rural, young, old. The air is heavy with incense and prayer, red flags flutter in the wind, musicians beat on drums in trance-like rhythms, and as the sun sets, the shrine comes alive. This is not a quiet devotion, this is ecstatic. The Damal begins, a Sufi dance performed by whirling men, their bodies moving in rhythmic surrender to something greater than themselves. Time seems to slow, then vanish. At that moment you realize this isn't about religion, it's about connection, to self, to the divine, to the people around you. Even if you don't understand the language or the rituals, the energy is undeniable. Sufism in Sindh is not hidden, it's lived, in the music, in the poetry, in the kindness of strangers, and in the stories passed down from generation to generation. From the mystic to the prehistoric, Sindh is also home to one of the most important archaeological sites in the world, Mohenjo-Daro. More than 4,500 years ago, this city stood as the crown jewel of the Indus Valley civilization, a society as advanced as ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia, but often forgotten in mainstream history. Walking through the ruins, you don't just see old bricks, you see organization, planning, brilliance. Streets were laid in perfect grids, homes had private baths, there were public drainage systems, granaries, even multi-story buildings, and yet no one knows why the city was abandoned. There are no great temples or palaces here, no statues of rulers. Mohenjo-Daro was a city of the people, a mystery still unsolved. The silence in the ruins is haunting. The sun bakes the earth. A lone lizard scurries past. But if you listen closely, it almost feels like you can hear echoes of the market, the footsteps of children, the hum of daily life that once filled these empty streets. Few places on earth offer such a direct connection to human history. Mohenjo-Daro isn't just an archaeological site, it's a reminder that greatness doesn't need to shout. No journey through Pakistan is complete without following the path of the Indus River, the lifeblood of this land. Originating in the Tibetan Plateau and flowing over 3,000 kilometers through Pakistan into the Arabian Sea, the Indus is more than a river, it's a civilization. Every major city, every ancient kingdom, every great trade route grew along its banks. As you follow its path, you witness the country's incredible diversity unfold. Mountains giving way to plains, cities rising from deserts, cultures shifting from valley to valley. In rural Sindh and Punjab, farmers still draw water from the Indus to irrigate wheat, cotton, sugarcane, and rice. Children swim in it, fishermen rise before dawn to cast nets, birds flock to its shores at sunset. The rhythm of life here is tied to the river, just as it has been for millennia. The Indus connects everything. It binds the north and the south, the past and the present, the mystical and the practical. To stand on its banks is to stand where history flows, where empires once sailed, and where the story of Pakistan continues to be written, drop by drop. As we turn southeast, we reach the edge of the Thar Desert, a vast expanse of golden dunes, wind-carved ridges, and villages that bloom in the most unlikely of places. You might think the desert is empty. It's not. It's alive. Here, in the Thar Parker district, people have adapted to extreme heat and isolation with grace and innovation. They live in circular mud homes called chunris, painted with white patterns and decorated with mirrors that catch the sun. Despite its harshness, the desert hosts some of Pakistan's most colorful festivals. During spring, the Thar Desert Festival lights up the region with camel races, folk dances, and music that echoes across the sands. Men wear turbans in brilliant reds and oranges. Women wear traditional mirror-worked dresses, silver jewelry jangling with every step. And then there's Karunjar Hills rising unexpectedly from the flat horizon. They're believed to be sacred. Locals say this is where sages meditated, where ancient rain rituals were performed, and where secrets lie in the stones. The Thar is dry but not barren. In its stillness, it teaches resilience. In its silence, it speaks loudly. We end where we began, Karachi. But this time it feels different. After the valleys and the deserts, the shrines and the ruins, Karachi's chaos now carries deeper meaning. It reflects the diversity you've witnessed, the contrasts you've come to understand, the energy of a country that refuses to be defined by a single narrative. Maybe you walk the beach again, but this time, you notice the fisherman preparing his nets, the mother telling her child stories of their ancestors, the call to prayer echoing from a distant minaret. It all means more now, because Pakistan is not a place you simply visit. It's a place that transforms how you see the world, and perhaps how you see yourself. This has been a journey through landscapes that defy imagination, histories that rewrite what you thought you knew, and people who open their hearts as easily as they open their doors. From the Himalayas to the Arabian Sea, from Buddhist ruins to Sufi shrines, from the glaciers of the north to the deserts of the south, Pakistan is one of the most spectacular and misunderstood countries on earth. It is a place of contrasts, yes, but more than that, it is a place of connection. If this video inspired you, don't just like it, share it, comment on it. Tell others what you've learned about this remarkable land. And most importantly, subscribe to The Unseen Traveler. Because this is just one journey of many. The world is full of hidden wonders, and we're going to find them, together.